Namaste, welcome to Tummee.com, a platform for yoga teachers and teachers in training. Hope you have watched our previous videos on gentle yoga. Today we will be discussing another great sequence for absolute beginners, that is gentle yoga against the wall for raw beginners. Now when we are saying gentle yoga in this sequence, what is it that we mean? It is all about gently accepting yourself in the practice. It's about understanding your body and accepting your practice, however it may be, and about simple awareness. It's just not raw beginners who find it overwhelming to join a yoga class, but also you, as a yoga teacher, find it comforting and want to make their first class a great experience. The use of wall makes it easy for you and the students. Though the wall in this sequence is for support and to build confidence in students, but again, the use of wall is subjective to each student. Sometimes it might not assist the student as per the plan, and it's fine. Students need to find comfort in this practice and not try to ace the practice. More than any other form of yoga, gentle yoga talks about breath awareness. In this sequence, specifically staying in connect with students, having eye contact and constantly motivating them will be a major booster. So the students can be of different age groups, from different walks of life. So it really doesn't matter what kind of students come. But yes, this sequence will help students who are obese or who have a very stiff body as they learn to accept themselves, and nothing else can be more rewarding than this. We have divided the sequence into two parts. First, a set of standing asanas done against the wall, and next, a set of sitting asanas done again with the help of the wall. The entire sequence is very simple, and that is because we want the students to get a slight awareness of their physical limitations while doing each pose. Like when they stretch their feet, what is it that they're noticing that is happening to their muscles? The sweet pain that they feel while doing a side stretch. So, such simple awareness is what we're focusing towards. We start with Tadasana, with back supported by the wall. In this pose, when students close their eyes and are trying to notice their breath, it would be their first doing so, and that will be very calming for them. They learn how to connect with their breath and understand how their body is feeling while taking their mind towards the breath. The initial yoga poses is always addressed to those parts of the body which are constantly in use, like the feet and the legs. So we start with warm-up exercises for the feet, and when doing so, they will instantly relate how the body feels post-release of a pose. So the first warm-up is where the student stands in front of the wall and places the palms on the wall for support, and then raises the heel and grounds it back, keeping the sync with breath. This exercise gets your feet and ankles activated with your calf muscles in action. The next warm-up works on calf muscles. The student raises the toes and balances on the heel with the support of the wall as the palms are placed on it, followed by 4 toes raised exercise, which works on the toes. Student lifts the toe and balances on the big toe. After doing such basic exercises, students learn how much of control they have over different regions of their feet. Next, we move on to Tadasana with 45-degree arms, where the student stands a few steps away from the wall and rests the palm on the wall. Why are we saying a few steps away from the wall? Because sometimes the wall might not give complete back support. Now, in this pose, when the eyes are closed and the mind is taken towards the breath, the extension of arms gives good stretch to the muscles in the neck, arms, chest, upper back, and the middle back. And that is something you have to ask your students to do. Feel the stretch. Then we move on to exercise that works on the hips. Hip rolls with palms rested on the wall and knees slightly bent is done to open up the lower body along with opening the lower back and hips. These hip rolls also help with side bends that you will see later. We next move on towards the thighs by performing Natarajasana preparatory pose. If you see, we started with arms, moved on to the lower back, and now we have come to the warm-up of thighs. The side of the body is facing the wall with one arm resting on the wall for support, and the student is balancing on one leg with the other leg being bent and held by the other arm. Some of the students might even need help for lifting the other leg. So assist them and keep talking to them on how to do the pose and where to take their focus. And in this pose, their focus goes towards their balance. Next, we go on to doing side bends on both sides of the body. Here, the use of the wall helps greatly as the body alignment in this pose becomes easy when the hip is rested on the wall, as you see here. While side bending, often instead of doing a side stretch, the upper body tends to face the ground due to low flexibility or gravity. Also because lateral bends aren't done much in day-to-day activities. And so when this pose is done, students realize how less of spine movement they do in their daily lives. They are slowly becoming self-aware. So to ensure that the lateral bends aren't done wrong, the wall is used. Also the hip rules that we did prior will help in doing this pose. Then we move on from the thighs to the glutes by performing Ekapada Parivritta Tadasana, hand to knee. If you see, this pose is performed on the right side of the body by lifting the right leg and keeping the knee bent. The right arm is stretched out on the wall at shoulder level. The stretch is felt in the glutes along with interlocking of the hips. So if this is performed on the right side, it has to be performed on the left side also. And why is that? That is because each side of the body reacts in a different way to different poses, and making the students realize this difference will help in their balance. If you see, we are trying to explain students through poses what is balance, what is stretch, what is focus, twist, and also mind-body breath sync. The next pose is a transition pose, Utthita Tadasana with arms up, where the back is rested on the wall. So we have worked on arms, stretches, and balance. The next few poses will also involve these concepts. Benefits of poses or making the students self-aware is all very relevant. But as teachers, giving basic instructions and making it as simple as possible for them to follow without even seeing you do the pose is what will take your students a long way. Next is the very first complete pose that we are doing, which is Virabhadrasana Variation 1. This pose is also done with wall support with one leg bent and the other leg stretched out. The stretch is felt around the hamstrings, activation of thighs, hips and the knees. So here, just ask your students, how did they feel while doing the pose? Asking such questions will make them eager to focus towards their body. Next, we go on to doing Parshvottanasana facing the wall. The palms on the wall and the forward bend gives a good stretch to the hamstrings, hips and the lower back. Both the poses are to be performed on both sides of the body to keep the balance, and by now they will be able to relate more on how each side reacts to each pose. So gist to this video. Because this is a complete beginner level sequence, the flow has to be smooth with not too much exertion. We need to keep the confidence level of students high by doing poses that will first get their body prepared and then they can do other asanas. Like we started with foot exercises, then warm-ups for arms, lower back, hips, thighs, along with body breath awareness. And then we moved on to doing two very basic asanas. So take it slow with your students, assist them every now and then and motivate them. We know the sequence has been built such that we first worked upon their breath awareness. Then we moved on to stretches and then warm-ups. And these concepts might be new to students and it's not necessary that it has to be explained to them. And that's completely fine because here the only focus is that they learn to analyze their body, accept it, and maybe work upon it if there is a need. All this will help them when they do such poses off the wall and otherwise. The next video we shall talk about poses done while sitting down and cool down asanas with use of wall. So click on the link to go on to the next part of the video and thank you very much.